It's time for Morning Manna, and it's time to share a special Morning Manna edition. This Morning Manna is all about Juneteenth, and today we celebrate that. Today is the day off, but we should not be in such a place that we're so celebratory that we do not remember or think about the soberness of this and the seriousness of Juneteenth. Well, we're going to talk about that through the lens of a text, a talk, and a takeaway. That's what we do, 5 minutes or less every weekday morning about this same time, Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. How about that? Well, happy Father's Day to the fathers, kind of the day after, but I hope you're still enjoying your special day. I know that I am. Want to greet some people and then get right into the word on this morning. Good morning, Brenda. Good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, Verena. Good morning, Sharon. How are you all on this morning? I guess everybody is sleeping in on this morning. If I had any sense, I probably should have done the same thing. Did you go to church yesterday? Where did you go to church? And did a man or woman of God minister the word to you on yesterday? What did they preach? I want to know. What was the message for the Father's Day? I want to know what that was. Want to know what that was. But at any rate, just want to just share a word with you on this morning. And this morning is all about Juneteenth, the text to talk, the takeaway, a special edition of that through the lens of Scripture. What does that look like? Here's the text. The text is Galatians 5 and 1. Galatians 5 and 1. And it says, For freedom, Christ has set us free. For freedom, Christ has set us free. Stand firm, therefore, and do not submit again to a yoke of slavery. Wow, bam, there you go. Stand firm in your freedom and do not submit yourself again to a yoke of slavery. Okay, the 13th Amendment of the Constitution eliminated slavery, but it still says in one portion of the Constitution that one could be enslaved as a part of a punitive action. I don't know whether you knew that or not, but I just thought I'd throw that out there on this morning just so you'll know. So, what does this mean on this morning of Juneteenth? As Christ has said, here is what I want to share with you. Free at last, really. Free at last, really. There's three things that I want to lift up out of this text and look at our situations as African Americans, people of color, that we might be able to get this, what the text is saying. You already know that Juneteenth, June the 19th, 2.5 years later, after, and that was 1865, June 19th, 1865, 2.5 years after Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, which is why we have watch night service. 2.5 years later, in Galveston, Texas, those who were free based on that emancipation were still living in slavery. Raises the question in our walk, our faith walk, and in our civil walk, our regular secular walk, are we still walking in slavery, though we have been set free? Paul lifts up this thing about circumcision in the church in Galatia, the mountainous area in Turkey today. Was this small church, and they had yet not gotten the total gospel of Jesus in grace. As a result of that, they still felt like they needed to be circumcised. As a result of them saying we still should be circumcised because that's what the Israelites did, and we are Jewish people coming into the Christian faith, should we be circumcised? Paul says, you got to be kidding me. You have been set free. What I have found in these three things is this: we are still under the circumcision of incarceration in this country. There are more black men and people of color incarcerated, get my words right, incarcerated in this country than in any other developed country on the face of the earth. We are put in prison faster, quicker, and longer than any other people. It can't be just because we always doing something wrong. Mm-mm. There's something else with that problem. You know, we got a lot of people shouting, talking about, oh, the justice system is two-tiered. We've been saying that. Wake up. Wake up. Second thing is this. Are we free from the circumcision of killing? Of killing. What do you mean by that? There's random killings. Do you realize that? That people just uh, shoot us just because of this. You saw the little boy who just came to the house trying to get help, scholar little student killed, or shot. I'm sorry. The woman shot by an older uh, majority culture woman just because of her color, feeling threatened. Free at last? Okay. All right. And then there is the killing of ourselves. Can't overlook that. Why does that happen? Now, I do not believe in black on black crime. I don't. I think that that is a racist criteria because we don't say Italian on Italian crime. We don't say Korean on Korean crime. We don't say white on white crime. Why do we always say black on black crime? I think it's a racist setup, criteria, and statistics designed for us to look at ourselves in a different kind of way, which is the third thing of our circumcision that we have to break out of. As Paul was saying, those believers then had to break out of that circumcision. Self-hatred. Self-hatred. We struggle with accepting ourselves. You see it in our dress, you see it in the things we buy, you know, all of these things we struggle with looking at ourselves and looking at the melanin in our skin, the wideness of our nose, the thickness of our lips, and accepting that, the hips of all women, the strength of all men, accepting that. The fact is, some of that, if you're not careful, when you're trying to change yourself, it has more to do with me not liking myself than me trying to enhance myself. You're the one that can determine that, not me. I raised the issue. So, free at last, just like in Galveston, Texas, 2.5 years later, they were free, but they just hadn't accepted it because they never had heard it. We are free from the circumcision, but are we? Let's be free in our walk. Here it is. Here's our closeout. Here is the takeaway, if you will. The takeaway is verse 13 in the same chapter. Verse 13 in the same chapter. As Paul was saying, break away from all this. Break away from the religiosity. Break away. It says, for you were called to freedom, brothers, I add sisters. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. Yes, we are free. And let's operate in that. Not going backwards, but moving forward. On this Juneteenth, we are free in our Salvific way and still fighting for our freedom in a civil, secular way. Hey, if this bless you, bless somebody else, share it. Don't keep it to yourself. Got more morning manna for you tomorrow morning. God bless you. Enjoy your day. Bye now.